Welcome back at 8:43. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with Anne and Martin this morning. I was asking a bit earlier where you're watching us from, what you're doing at the moment. And Tom says, Anne, just to let you know, we get free travel on buses and trains. So we get a bus from our road to the station, travel to Southport for our newspaper, have a coffee and return.
Yeah, a lot of information there. Tim says, I'm watching in Melbourne, down under, streaming live to my laptop screen in my study. But in case I need to get coffee, I have you both streaming to the TV in the family room also, so I don't miss a thing. Tim, Viewer of the Day Award.
You can watch us anywhere, anytime, you really can. And it's nice to be with you. Kevin Schofield is with us and Candice Holdsworth looking through the papers today. And let's get straight, Kevin, to the heartwarming story about Twiglet, the puppy dachshund.
Well, yeah, we like a happy ending, but poor little Twiglet, the miniature dachshund, went through a pretty traumatic 24 hours. It was relatively brief, thankfully, but quite scary, actually. So its owner's home was broken into by a hammer-wielding man, specifically to steal this poor dog. Now, fortunately, the family have CCTV, so they were able to give the footage to the police, who put it online. It went viral because
because you actually saw the man breaking into the kitchen, chasing the dog around the kitchen to try and
the dog's really fighting for its life. Yeah, absolutely. So, as I say, it went viral, and fortunately, a very kind-hearted person saw the dog for sale on Facebook, bought it for 700 quid, and gave it back to the owners.
Wow. God.
So within 24 hours, little Twiglet was back with its mum and dad.
I didn't realise that's how they got it.
Yeah. So it was up for sale. So, I mean, obviously there's a big business here. They specifically broke in, as we were saying, probably to order.
You know, it's
quite a valuable species.
Just look at some data here. It's astonishing. There's been a 30% relative increase in dog theft compared to burglary since 2020, an all-time high of 1,149 thefts annually. So that's 9.4 thefts per 100,000 dog owners. This is clearly a booming business.
Yes.
Nicking dogs.
700 quid. I mean, this is one that, you know, had a happy ending, but how many are not, you know what I mean? And they're being sold to unsuspecting people.
Your dog isn't even safe in your own home.
No, you have to be so discerning. Do not buy dogs from random adverts. You need to know that it's a reputable seller. I think you need licences for it to sell dogs, and I think it should be illegal to advertise it on Facebook.
Yes.
Is that because sort of dodgy dealers, if you like, know your home address? And so they know where to come and get the dog? Is that what's happening?
I don't know. I think, maybe they're just, like, watching people. Because, I mean, there's so much going on now, you know, especially with all this low-level crime. There must be people who know where the dogs are. They're watching people walk dogs. I don't know exactly how it works. But, I mean, it would be my absolute worst nightmare if something like that happened. I mean, my dog is loved. I mean, I'd be traumatised.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. Yeah, so as I say, happy ending, but, you just think it must be lots of pet owners who it doesn't end so well.
No, and whether that person will ever get his £700 back. But
Well,
what
it
a
doesn't say, actually,
what a lovely thing for them to have thought to do.
Remarkable, really. They were very, very fortunate.
Candice, story in The Telegraph. Online stalkers are out of control, according to TV presenter Laura Whitmore.
Yeah, so this is a story in The Telegraph. The former Love Island presenter, Laura Whitmore, she said that stalking on social media is becoming a real problem. And she, being such a famous person, has really experienced it. But she said it's not very well understood by the social media companies or by the police. So when she went to the police about it, she said they were sort of confused and they didn't really understand where she was coming from, because she was talking about things like blocking IP addresses, and I just don't think the education is quite there. But it's interesting that she talks about her as a television presenter getting so much attention, because I've also read things about MPs say that they have to manage social media accounts, but they get so much negativity, and it can really get them down, like full-on abuse. And I just wonder if maybe the social media companies need to have a better understanding of this, and maybe have a department that deals with stalking behaviour.
Well, of course they should, because it's now rampant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Kev, in the realm of politics, we hear a lot, don't we, about particularly female politicians being bullied out of the trade altogether.
Well, absolutely, and, you know, have to have security at home, all that type of thing, which really you can understand why we're getting so many MPs now deciding to chuck it, especially young female MPs, you know. It's a public service. No one asks them to go and do it. They put themselves up for it, and they leave themselves open, especially nowadays through social media, to all sorts of vile abuse. But obviously people then, some horrible individuals, take it to that next level and try and track them down and do them harm. And we've seen it with tragic consequences
Yes,
as well.
absolutely.
It's something...
I mean, that's the trouble now, is that MPs clearly feel they have to have a social media platform.
They've got no choice,
Yeah, it's the only way they can... and they really can communicate with their constituents, but it lays them open to this.
Especially Twitter.
Let's cheer ourselves up with the amazing royal cakes that were on show at the 104th Sandringham Royal Flower Show or something, was it?
Yes, that's right, the Sandringham Flower Show. Now, this is a lady by the name of Jackie Marshall who made a King Charles pie. Now, we need the picture.
Here we are. I'll hold that up.
There it is, look.
I don't know if you can see that.
So the one on the left, just to be clear, is Prince Charles. The ears are a bit of a giveaway.
Well, I think they are a bit, and the crown.
And
the ears and the crown.
I can definitely see the resemblance.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
What did he think? 'Cause he went along and saw them, didn't he?
So they were there and they saw them, both the royal couple, and Camilla said, "It looks just like my husband." I'm not sure that's a compliment, really. But and Charles said, "It looks like something out of Wallace and Gromit."
Yeah, well, it does. I like the puns. Of course, we've got the upper crust. We've got His Royal Pie-ness.
And because it went down so well, she made that one for the show. She's now made one for Queen Camilla, which is the other one.
Camilla would have a good sense of humour about it as well.
I quite like the idea of like biting one of King Charles's pastry ears
just
off.
pulling off one of his ears.
That could catch on.
Why not?
Plenty of eating in those ears.
Yeah, there really is, isn't there? In the Telegraph, Candice, then, their award-winning food writer has been talking about barbecues.
Yes, so Diana Henry, she has said, let's spice up the sides a bit, because in barbecues it tends to be all about the meat, but let's do something fun with the sides. And so she said stuff like you can make potato salad, which everyone just thinks is so boring. She thinks you can make it more interesting. So she was saying adding things like onions, pickles, and she also said chicken stock to add a bit of flavour to it.
I've done that before,
Yep, and she said, you can also grill aubergines, onions, peppers. She's like, just be a bit more thoughtful about the sides. I mean, I know we don't have barbecue weather right now. I mean, it's just not great.
It's going to come, I'm confident.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. But I love the sides. I obsess over the sides. And
well, I'm a vegetarian, so that's all I eat is the sides. So they have to be interesting.
What about you, Kev? Because I basically want a tomahawk steak and maybe like a solitary lettuce leaf.
Well, I've got to say, my wife makes a fantastic potato salad. She really does. So I do like that, and I like a coleslaw. And being Scottish, obviously, I like chips. So if there's any oven chips kicking around,
absolutely.
That's a big winner for me.
We're talking of holidays as well, and we talked about Centrica Gas yesterday making enormous profits. Well, apparently the airlines are doing quite well too.
Yeah, so despite the cost of living crisis, maybe in part because of it, people are willing to kind of push the boat out. Things are so miserable at home. Obviously, the weather's not great here. And people are willing to stretch themselves to go on holiday, and as a result, the airlines are experiencing bumper profits, which is a little bit counterintuitive, because you would think that would be something that people would, because times are tough, they might kind of draw their horns in a little bit and not go on holiday. But
if you look at the data, what I find fascinating about this is the price of flights, on average, have gone up by 30%. Yeah. So what I'm wondering, Candice, is flying going to become the preserve of the rich? Are we going back to pre-package holiday mentality where the poorer people will have a staycation and pay more because you're fighting for the same places in Cornwall, Devon, Lake District, wherever you go, and the rich people, they don't care? They just keep paying 30% premiums. Are we moving towards being taxed, the net zero angle, the guilt trip of flying? That won't affect the richest. They're still flying, but are the poorer people going to be sort of priced out of the market?
See, but this is what everyone says, and the wealthy will also take a private jet as well without thinking. We've had this huge emancipation of ordinary people able to travel and go on holiday and do things that their grandparents could only dream of. And, this is the trade-off that we sort of have to balance. We want people to have a higher standard of living than they had in the past, while also focusing on things like decarbonisation. But I think so far it's sort of like, well, you have to have a more austere life, rather than thinking about, well, actually, things like holidays are really important to people, and they will prioritise it above pretty much everything.
At the moment, nothing is stopping people going on holiday.
No.
The airlines are chock-a-block, as you say.
Absolutely.
All of the aircraft are full. The airports are busy.
Yeah.
If you can get to an airport because of the trains, but people are going on holiday.
Yeah.
And I think maybe since the pandemic,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
something we realised we really, really value, and having to do without holidays was awful.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the fact it was
definitely.
taken away from us so unexpectedly, I think people are like, you don't know what's round the corner, so
No,
you
that's
might as
right.
well enjoy it
Yeah.
while you can.
Yeah, I think that is definitely the case. You know, people just think when that old thing, you don't realise what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
And flying abroad, the feeling of a foreign beach. I'm holidaying in Pembrokeshire this year, and also Scotland. I love British holidays, but I just love that beating sun on the back. But it's becoming pricier.
Yes, yeah, but also you have guaranteed sunshine as well when you go abroad. I mean, I love Pembrokeshire. I was there 2 years ago, and we stayed on a house on the beach. It's gorgeous, and it's such a hidden gem.
But the only thing is you can't guarantee the weather.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people still want to be able to choose places where you get guaranteed sunshine.
Exactly.
Because you
100%.
just ache for it.
Yeah,
don't
We
you?
need
You really
it,
do.
yeah.
But I've just been looking.
Yeah,
I was
so-
looking earlier, wasn't I, at my next holiday, and the price of the flight was as much as the stay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous.
And that's awful. It didn't used to be that way.
No, that's right.
There you go. It's time to plan your next holiday, I feel, at the moment. But until then, can I just say thank you very much for coming in today.
It's been
Thank you
great,
very much.
yes.
We managed to get through nearly every paper there.
We did,
didn't we? We've got lots more coming up, though. Of course, we'll have all the latest updates. If you've just woken up, more strikes. We'll tell you all about them in a couple of moments. You're watching Breakfast on GB News.